All right, I've got video of a reporter from CBS's Face the Nation playing the both sides game with Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. You could say that this is the Bari Weiss effect, even though she hasn't yet really dug in at CBS. But they are now pretending that Trump isn't the only one who has tried to steal elections. Now, I'm going to play for you this line of questioning from Margaret Brennan on CBS, and I want to make it clear. We are not like, oh my goodness, Hakeem Jeffries is just so awesome and he's the perfect leader. We have been very critical on this show of Hakeem Jeffries. But in this particular instance, Jeffries is in the right and Margaret Brennan is desperately trying to do the both sides game when there is no both sides game to play.
I want to ask you about something you said. You said Democrats, there are no election deniers on our side of the aisle. You said that back in January. But recently, you've been using the term rigged elections in reference to the upcoming midterms. Democrats were appalled when President Trump used language like that. How do you justify using that now? Doesn't that undermine faith for voters you need to show up?
No, I've been using that term in the context of Donald Trump's unprecedented effort to gerrymander congressional maps in a partisan fashion all across the country in order to rig the midterm elections and deny the ability of the American people to actually decide who should be in the majority as it relates to the House of Representatives.
You know, Democrats are also going through gerrymandering and redistricting.
No. Well, Democrats are going to push back aggressively to make sure that we have fair maps across the country, not partisan gerrymandering, which Republicans have initiated in state after state after state.
This is a completely dishonest line of questioning from Margaret Brennan. I mean, something very strange is happening with my hair today. Hakeem Jeffries is right. When Trump said, I won the 2020 election, it was rigged and stolen by Joe Biden. There is no moral or logistical equivalency between that and our recognition that partisan gerrymandering is something that has systemically pushed elections to Republicans. When she says, well, Democrats are also gerrymandering, yes, we have made it very clear on the left that Democrats should not unilaterally disarm. We would all vote today to end partisan redistricting altogether. Republicans wouldn't. Given that they wouldn't, we need to use every tool, like Gavin Newsom, for example, is using in California, to try to level the playing field until such time that we can do away with this partisan disaster. Now, there is another issue here. Recognizing that purging voter rolls, limiting early voting hours, strategically restricting polling places in left-leaning areas, either left-leaning areas on the basis of race or just historical voting patterns, that is very different than I believe Biden was in bed with some voting machine company and they just did some kind of hack to steal the election. What we're talking about is something at the structural level. Make it more difficult for people to vote in areas where you don't want those people voting. Make it more inconvenient. Restrict the times and days. These are not morally equivalent and these are not logistically equivalent. And so for Margaret Brennan to do this is yet another example of the fear that exists in legacy and corporate media right now, that you are going to be seen as adversarial and antagonistic to the administration, that they might come after you, and that could be a problem for you. Now, they are in a sense correct that may happen, but they're laying down. Now, we are trying not to lay down. And I know that our colleagues in the progressive media ecosystem, independent ecosystem, are doing the same thing. Are they going to come after one of us? Everybody thinks that the answer is yes. Everybody, we've done Substack Lives now with Brett Meiselas from Midas Touch and Brian Tyler Cohen, Aaron Parnas, Carlos Espina, and all of these folks. Everybody thinks they're going to come after someone in our space, and we've got to be ready. But how is it that there is more courage coming from the independent space than from legacy and corporate media that have all the money in the world, the best lawyers money can buy? It is a really tragic and sad thing to see. And Hakeem Jeffries, for all of his faults, is pointing it out that this is not, there's no equivalence here. This is not a fair comparison. And my expectation would be that with Bari Weiss running CBS News upcoming after the purchase of the Free Press, I can only assume it's going to get worse.